Alright, this video is going to review the three-dimensional figures and volume and surface area. Here on number 4, you're asked to find lateral area, surface area, and volume of a cone. Formulas are already written out here for you. Remember, in a cone, the slant height, just as in a pyramid, is the slanted edge over here. Okay, so this is my slant height given as 10. The radius of the circle is 6. And with the height, we've created a right triangle. I am eventually going to need height to find volume. So I'm going to go ahead and do Pythagorean theorem over here with the legs of that right triangle and the hypotenuse. This is another Pythagorean triple. This is actually a multiple of a 3, 4, 5. If you remember the 3, 4, 5, you can multiply that by anything. 6 is just 3 times 2. And 10 is 5 times 2. So this second leg is going to be 4 times 2. So it actually comes out to be 8. So this is a 6, 8, 10. Just a multiple of a 3, 4, 5. Okay, I do need my slant height, that's given, radius, that's given. So now I know all of the variables needed. So pi radius is 6. Slant height is 10. I can, again, anytime you're dealing with circles and you have pi in your formula, you can leave it in terms of pi, which would be 60 pi feet squared. Or you can multiply it out to get an approximate decimal answer. Comes out to 188.50 when we go to the hundredths place. Now, surface area, the total surface area is just the lateral area plus the base. Our base is a circle, so that's pi r squared. If I'm going to do this in terms of pi, this was 60 pi, and I need to add pi 6 squared. Well, 6 squared is 36, so 36 and 60 is 96 pi. That's the in terms of pi answer. Still feet squared. I can multiply 96 times pi in my calculator to get an approximate decimal of 301.59 feet squared. Alright, last but not least, volume. And again, I've shown you on the formula chart, when you see that capital B, area of base, for a circle, you can replace it with pi r squared. So I'm going to do 1/3 pi 6 squared times the height of 8. So 1/3 times 6 squared times 8 is 96. So in terms of pi, this is 96 pi. I just multiplied the numbers and am tacking pi there on the end. Feet cubed for volume. Now if I actually multiply that out, 96 times pi, same as what we did up here a second ago. And again, you will occasionally get the same surface area and volume, but that does not mean it will happen every time. You still need to work it out to check. Alright, so there are those 3 final answers. Here in number 5, you're given a sphere and asked for surface area and volume. Formulas are given. This one's pretty straightforward. The only thing you need for a sphere is the radius, which is labeled as 7. So this would be 4.
Teachers, pardon the interruption. At this time, please release varsity baseball players. Thank you.
So this would be 4 pi 7 squared. And again, this is a circular 3D solid. So we can leave pi in the answer and just take 4 times 7 squared, which is 196, and leave pi in the answer. This is inches, area squared. Okay, you can multiply that out. Your approximate answer as a decimal is 615.75 square inches. Volume, same process, different formula. My radius is cubed, and I'm multiplying by 4/3. So 7 cubed times 4/3 Okay, that actually gives you a decimal, a repeating decimal. So when that happens, I would actually just go ahead and multiply it by pi rather than trying to leave it in terms of pi, since it would be a decimal anyway if you left it in terms of pi. So this is approximately 1,436.76 volume would be inches cubed. So there are your answers for volume and surface area of this given sphere. All right. Now this is just a list of vocab that you've been asked to learn. You've got your highlighted in blue here are your terms that would deal with circles.
Teachers, pardon the interruption. That release is for Friday, not today. Do not release varsity baseball players. Thank you.
All right, here we have a list of some vocab that you'll want to know. What I've highlighted in blue is the terms that deal with your circular figures, circumference, cone, cylinder, diameter, radius. These aren't in any particular order, it's just alphabetical. Okay, and then what's in green is just the rest of the terms. Make sure that you study these. You may want to make some flashcards. You could also go to Quizlet.com. I've created a 3D vocab list there, and you can play some games to practice those. If you need, the link is on my website, or if you need to search, go to Quizlet.com, and it's SFHS geometry file is what you would search for. Okay, on this problem, you're given that the storage tank is a cylinder with a hemisphere on each end. The radius is 3 feet, and the height of the cylinder is 7. What's the total volume of the tank? I've made a note here that you need to remember a hemisphere is just half of a sphere. So if we have one on each end, that's 2 hemispheres. We just have 1 total sphere. So rather than worrying about finding half of a sphere here and half of a sphere here, you're going to end up with an entire sphere. So you may want to just go ahead and realize that. So we're trying to get the total volume. So we want the volume of the sphere, which here's the formula, and the volume of this cylinder, which here's your formula. So for the sphere, it is 4/3 pi. The radius, we were told, is 3, and that is cubed. So 3 cubed times 4/3. Again, this one does not give you a decimal, so you could leave it as 36 pi. Or as a decimal, that would give you approximately 113.10. And again, that would be in feet cubed. Okay, and then the cylinder, there you were told that it had a height of 7. Radius is still going to be 3. So pi 3 squared times 7. So 3 squared times 7 is 63. So that would be 63 pi feet cubed, or approximately 197.92 feet cubed. Now these are individual. They want the total volume of the tank. So now you have to take your 2 volumes and add them together. If you're leaving them in terms of pi, you have 36 pi from the sphere and 63 pi from the cylinder. And you just add your coefficients there. Don't worry about adding the pi's, that's just on the end. So this would be 99 pi would be your exact answer, and that's in cubic feet. Okay, or approximately, okay, and then you could add your approximate answers. Okay, so 113.10 and 197.92, which gives you 311.02 cubic feet. So there are your 2 possible answers for total. Don't forget to make that addition at the end, get the sum. Okay, don't just do those individually.